Okay. Good evening, or whenever you're watching this, and welcome to my channel. Tonight, we're instead of having my normal Living Critically show, we decided to have my version of the goddamn podcast. Because if you didn't know, these two have a show that they do on Tuesday nights. It's called the Goddamn Podcast. It used to be actually up until recently. There was three of them. Drew, my volume was on. Drucifer was on as well, but he's taking some time away. So, and we miss you, Drew. If you see this, we miss you very much. But so now it's just the two of them. Thing is, though, that it was always kind of TJ and Drew, or TJ and the chat versus John. Everybody picks on Dark Matter. So, yeah, this is maybe a little payback for that.
Okay. Well, I'm known as like the brains and looks of the show, so I mean, I let them come after me to, to make them feel better about themselves, whatever. But whatever,
I've told this to Dark Matter before.
Start off with.
I've told Dark Matter before that the reason that we pick on him so much on the show is because go look at like the comments on his videos. People treat this man way better than he deserves. All right, way better than he deserves. Everybody just is like, "Oh, this is the greatest! Oh my God!" It's
so
nothing.
You're jealous, TJ.
No. It's not jealous. It's you got to put this bastard in his place. All right, you take one look at this man, and you look at the ego he's grown, and you're like, no. Let's take him down
bullshit. And I'm probably the most humble person in the world.
Exactly,
TJ.
The most humble in the world on the planet. I love that brag. Fantastic. Fantastic.
The thing is, though, he is like I've heard him say things like, "I don't know why people watch my animations," and stupid shit like that makes you kind of want to punch him in the face a little bit.
Look, his animations are great. But you're a scientist. Peachy is a scientist, and like I'm like, how do we have these very smart viewers on our very usually not that smart show? I mean, like, we're not idiots, but we just kind of screwing around on the show. And I think Peachy put it best, and she says, sometimes you need a break from the smart stuff. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Ouch.
I'm sorry I ruined that.
Yeah.
You're sorry you ruined you add too much intelligence to the podcast? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you said it. You said it, not me.
I'm telling you, you will be on my
she's
side.
Not wrong, though, because, like, at the end of the day, after working, I guess, doing what I do with in climate science, I turn on YouTube. I don't want to sit here and learn shit. That takes too much effort. I want to laugh. So what of it?
There you go. We're perfect for that. I'll tell you that. I mean, if you want a really good laugh, look at Dark Matter's fucking picture right there on the screen. Jesus, how did you made something that made you look like a super buff dude with a farmer's tan on your head? All right, and then you made me look like Golem. But dude, I mean, if you look at us right now, it would appear that Golem has gotten himself in a little bit better shape, taking care of his hair and stuff, and Dark Matter has just let himself go.
There's the Dark Matter we know for that, though. Yeah. Because when you guys do, like John never, comes on camera, so you have to put up something on the screen. And for your show, you fuck with him hard, and you always put up really scary shit with his face plastered on it.
Hey, during the breaks,
to go in the opposite direction today.
I'm really nice. During the breaks, it's a picture of him with a bunch of freaking like bikini models. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a Photoshop, obviously. There's no real life photos of Dark Matter.
One picture that isn't a Photoshop, and you claim that it is. Nice.
Yeah, sure.
Is it really?
It is an actual Photoshop. Ironically, actual pictures of Dark Matter doing embarrassing things, he will claim are photoshopped.
Yeah, that's funny because I just had this conversation with him about the pictures you sent me, TJ.
Oh yeah, those are not photoshopped.
Should I tell everybody what you were doing in those pictures, John?
Mm-hmm.
No comment.
There's no evidence that they're legit. Let's just say that.
I have multiple pictures. He posed in a Pizza Hut because they had a no knives or forks sign, and he literally saw that, posed in front of it with a confused look on his face. I have so many pictures of this guy, and he does it on purpose. I told him Dasani is terrible water, and the very next thing he did is like send me a picture of him like hugging a case of Dasani. Like he does anything he can to irk me.
Yeah, the pictures that I asked TJ before Dark Matter is actually the one who made the pictures for the thumbnail.
A supermodel fan of mine made that thumbnail.
Oh, okay. A supermodel fan of yours.
Yeah.
One of your
a team of them.
No,
a team of them. They're
a team.
Bro.
There's a picture. I asked TJ, I was like, can you send me a picture of yourself to put in the thumbnail? And he's like, okay. Well, he sent a couple of himself, and he's like, well, here, I'll send a couple of John too. So there's one picture of him, the one with eating the pizza with a fork and knife. And then there's another picture of him eating a fucking Kit Kat. Like he had bitten into it instead of breaking it apart like a fucking sociopath.
Like a savage. He freaking bit across 3 bars in one bite of a Kit. You know, I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. You fucking snap the pieces of the Kit Kat.
And you know what? Specifically to mess with you.
Well, I'm going to give you credit there because it would have been boring because the pictures I sent were basically just my freaking profile pictures. Pretty basic. So you spiced it up a bit. And hey, man, if anyone can make Golem that looks sexy.
How did I fucking knew you? I knew you were gonna say that. I just knew it.
I don't know.
In fact, what he said before he even made it was make sure you make me look good and him look like Gollum. Hold on, wait a minute, and like 10 minutes later, sent me that. So it's perfect.
It's okay. I can dish it out and I can take it. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I have had to explain the pizza thing where like I won't eat the whole pizza with a knife and a fork, but if the pizza isn't like crispy, it dangles and you have to cut it so that it doesn't like droop and you're not like drooping it in your mouth because I don't like flaccid pizza in my mouth. Okay,
that can be easily edited,
and also if it's really hot, you got to cut off the first few bites.
What did you say earlier? You didn't like thick stuff in your mouth or something?
That was referring to burgers. I like thinly sliced burgers. I don't like thick burgers. I don't like thick stuff in my mouth.
Dude, well, wait a God damn it, Dark Matter. I have to take notes on this show of the audio I need to come back and grab. Is that what's happening?
I don't like flaccid stuff in my mouth. I don't like thick stuff in my mouth.
So was it got to be somewhere in between? Christ.
I guess I'm the what do you call it? The Goldilocks of stuff in your mouth. Never mind.
This one's just right. Fucking Christ. Dark Matter's always a hoot.
Before the show, I had actually learned something that I didn't know. That the whole thing between you two actually started. TJ had a channel and a show before even Dark Matter did. So do you want to? I would like you to explain that again and tell us how you met and how TJ blew you off and you've been heartbroken forever.
Dude, first of all, don't everyone wants to blow off anybody with a screen name that ends in 4 numbers. All right. That's like an instant blow
this
off.
was like 13 years ago.
Yeah, this is a long time ago.
Before the whole bot thing came to be.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. Tell us the story. How you
tell the story and I'll put in the corrections.
I was subscribed to TJ, and he used to do YouTube a lot more, where he would make these really great videos taking down Fox News and their bullshit. and I was a fan, and he used to do these face palms. He was a face palm aficionado where he would find all the best clips from movies and shows of people face palming, and he would edit those in when someone would say something particularly stupid on Fox News, which is like every other 15 seconds. And so I sent him a face palm that I like, which was, if you remember, Worf face palming in Star Trek after Data sings, blue skies.
I can almost promise you that it got used. In one video or another, man. Like first of all, I remember that particular face palm that you're talking about. Second of all, I literally made a list of all the ones because I asked for suggestions at one point.
Maybe that's why I sent it. Yeah.
And I made sure to grab all of them, put them in a list, and went down the list and used every single one in my video so that they would all get used. Because if you're going to take the time to, send it to me, I want to take the time to fucking use it.
But he never replied to my message when you used to be able to send private messages on YouTube. Never replied. So I made a channel and I vowed to make it bigger than his just to get back at him. No, that's not true. but it would be funny.
But he did. He did.
Yeah.
It would be funny if it worked.
No, and I did used to make a lot more YouTube videos. I do not now. I have 3-year-old twins and all kinds of other shit going on. Like I do not have the free time like I used to. Now I just stick with the goddamn podcast, and it's just like 3 hours a week, so it's simple enough.
Yeah. I put your channel in the description, but I know you don't use it so much anymore. But really, honestly, everybody in the chat that's my normal people that haven't seen the goddamn podcast, it is a lot of fun. It took a long time for John to tell me about it, though. Like, I don't know, we were friends like over a year before you were finally like, yeah, I do this thing on Tuesday nights. So, reason for that?
Well, you had to. If you didn't know me for at least a year, then you would have been scared away pretty quickly by that. You
said I wasn't going to respect you anymore.
Yeah.
I said, when did I start respecting you?
Yeah, it's definitely like the lighter side part of our existence here. We try not to take it too seriously. Like we get on some serious topics here and there, but it's meant to be lighthearted and kind of an escape from all that shit. If you do check out my channel, like I said, I don't post too much there. I do plan on like bringing it back at some point, posting more there. But even some of the older stuff, some of it did not age real well just because it was real time sensitive. But there's a lot of videos that have good rewatchability. One of my personal favorites is the HBO's Questioning Darwin, where it's like a documentary, and it's just a ton of interviews with creationists and throughout this documentary. And I went and grabbed out all of the clips where they have the creationists talking, and I replied to them. And that one, it's like a 40-minute long video, but it actually did pretty well. It's got like, I don't know, almost 200,000 views or whatever. It's pretty decent.
Jesus. Do you think once the twins get a little older and you have more time, do you think you'll go back to it?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm thinking is when they're like going to school or whatever, where I actually have, because I don't have time to do anything right now. Like it's everything like has to be planned out ahead of time, including me being here for this show. Like had to make sure, and I'm literally cutting it. Like I got them out of the bath, laid them down, I'm hanging out with them, trying to get them to bed. Right. And I'm checking the time, and I'm like, okay. I got 20 minutes before the show starts. I'm good. Like it's that kind of constant stress shit going on.
Yeah.
So it will.
I'm lucky to have a 17-year-old. So, he doesn't.
I have a 14-year-old as well. 14-year-old and twin. They'll be 3 at the end of this month. So
you need to get the 14-year-old to take care of the little ones.
It's just not how it's going to freaking work. I can tell you right now, it's what'll happen is the 14-year-old will stare at her phone, and them kids will tear this house to freaking bits, and it'll just be more shit for me to fix.
You waited the exact worst amount of time between kids.
Yeah, and then doubled up, and just not only that, my older daughter got to spend 11 years as an only child. 11 years as an only child, and then gets a brother and a sister at the same time.
So all the attention is gone. Yeah, but she's at that age where she doesn't want, a lot of.
She wants privacy. Yeah, she wants privacy. She wants privacy at this. But I'm thinking, like, if it wasn't for the twins, the 14-year-old wants privacy. Guess what that means for me? Fucking free time. That's all, man. That sounds so good right now. But yeah, it's not. It's just not.
See, I've got the kid that actually, like, my kid still likes hanging out with me. He's, cool. In fact, he was mad at me yesterday because I went out and I went out with some friends and got lunch, and I like never do that. I never go out and do things. And he was like, no, we have to watch a movie, and he'll ask me to play video games and shit like that. So my kid is cool, and he thinks I'm cool. So
hell yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, if you were like I don't know, if you were a boring person, it would probably mean he's a mama's boy. But you're not boring, and that's probably he just wants to hang out with cool moms, which makes sense.
Far from a mama's boy.
And it's cool to have that you can that you'll play video games and do stuff with them. A lot of moms won't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I suck at it. And John knows that I fucking suck at video games.
All I need you to do is protect my snipe point, okay? Just cover me while I snipe.
He just yells at me. He's like, "All you got to do is just not die. Is it that hard?"
No, what didn't you tell me that he like used the controller while you like with how did it go again? You were holding the controller and he was using it, or
no, when he he gave it to me to take his place. Right. Because he had to go do something, and he's like, you just have to take my place and not die for a minute. But then 2 days later was when he got into that skateboarding accident, so he couldn't do it anymore. So yeah, he had to give me. I had to be in charge of his playtime, and I kept dying, and he was very upset about that.
Dude, you want to see some wild stuff? Look up the people that play either one-handed or with those like goofy grips on the controllers. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where they instead of holding it like this, they hold like underneath. And
that is so fucking weird.
Really, really strange.
I don't know how they do that?
Yeah, I don't either. But the people that are like, there are people who are either amputees that will play with one hand. Then there are people who are just ambidextrous and will play one controller in each hand. Like that's fucking nuts.
There's people who will play hard games like Dark Souls using a freaking drum, like Nintendo drum set, or a Guitar Hero guitar or some ridiculous controller.
Didn't they have someone doing playing like Super Mario with the Power Glove?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that they set up a Power Glove. Anyway. Old school. Those things are worth a bunch of money now.
Had mentioned something about liking my background. That is all BrainBug. My producer, BrainBug, whose link is in the description as well. She's like me. She does science stuff. Her stuff is a lot of conspiracy stuff, and she does stuff with bugs and everything. So if you get a chance, she's woefully undersubbed and awesome. So check her out. But yes, all the producing and everything is thanks to her, because I am terrible at technology. Just saying. Anyway, do you play at all with your daughter, or does she play games at all?
Oh yeah, she is trying to force me to play a game called Undertale on Switch. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's like seriously old school 8-bit like RPG style game, but she is a connoisseur of it, and she there's the genocide mode where so the way she wants me to play it is like the pacifist mode, and that's where you don't fight anybody and you basically just dodge and it's defense the whole time. But it's a cool setup. Like when you're
what's the point of a video game in pacifist mode? I've never heard of that before.
So maybe it'll make more sense when I describe it. It's like a really old school 8-bit, like almost like Nintendo or Super Nintendo level looking game, like really kind of rough around the edges. Yeah. But when you go into a battle or whatever, you're basically a little heart in a box, and the attacks are all kinds of, depending on who you're battling, they come at you, and you have to, your little heart you have to dodge them, or you lose your hit points. And it's really interesting. It's a lot of it's not dialogue, it's a lot of reading. There's no actual it's but a ton of reading the storyline, and there's little things, and she'll point it out. She'll say, oh, this one right here, this is important, and it'll be some dumb joke, then she'll just laugh because she wasted my time. You know what I mean? But that's the game she really likes to play. She also likes they're I can't remember, Persona 5 P5, something like that. It's like Dance Revolution, but just with a controller, and it's a super like anime style and like K-poppy music. They have different versions with different music. She likes that one too. I'm not into that.
Is that on the Switch as well?
I think she's got that. She's got that on like 3 different consoles. Because they have a ton of different.
We have the PlayStation 4. I offered to try to find the PlayStation 5 for him for Christmas. This is my kid. He refused. He didn't want me to get it. I've been offering to get him a new phone for months because his phone is just beat to shit. And nope, he doesn't want it. He's like, my kid doesn't ask for things. He's very, he could be as spoiled as he wanted to be, because I would literally, I would go without to get him whatever he wanted, and he doesn't care. So.
Sure, that's awesome. That's a sign of a smart kid too. But I don't want to sound like I've got a ton of different consoles. I have the Switch, a PS4, and then up here in my room that I never play is a PS3. And the reason I won't get rid of it is because I have a stack of freaking PS3 games that I absolutely adore. And if the apocalypse ever hits, I'm going to crank up a generator and play them.
Those are the exact same
John
consoles
here
I
is
have.
all about you're all about the computer shit, right, John?
Oh yeah, I love playing PC games.
I can't. My computer's too fucking dated right now, but maybe on my next machine.
I have a handy reason to have a good computer, and that is because I need a decent computer to do on the software that I use to make animations, which, believe it or not, TJ, I know you want to tease me, but they take a lot of time, a lot of work.
Microsoft Paint is a much larger application than it used to be.
But yeah, it's a good excuse to have a good computer, and I have a lot of games that I like on the computer.
Do you don't have any consoles at all?
Yeah, I have the exact same ones as TJ. I have a PS3, a PS4, and a Switch.
I was reading. No, not bad.
The Switch was mainly for our older daughter, although it is a cool concept, and there are a lot of fun games. It's definitely unique. Yeah. It's better than what that Sony or Microsoft could do as far as making something like versatile in like on the go or on the TV. And again, some of the games are just fucking fantastic and totally addicting. So it takes me back to being a kid.
Your daughter's all into that game with the pacifist. Oh, you're wearing your goddamn podcast shirt. Nice.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna wear one of Dark Matter shirts, but I figured that would be overkill. So
yeah. It's bad enough it's in the thumbnail.
Yeah, he picked it.
Fair.
So.
Yeah. Dude, this guy's got an ego. That's what I'm saying.
Not fair.
With an ego that freaking big, you got to knock the guy down a peg. You see, it just comes. It's like a natural instinct to want to be like, hey, take that guy down a notch, you douchebag.
It's okay. The dog's always stealing his shirts anyway, so he likes the dog better than me because my dog is John's dog. Leia is his dog, so she wears the shirts. It's fine. I get it. She's more. Adorable than me. I understand.
She is a sweet dog.
You're leaving me in quite a position here. Like I can't say that. I can't say no. You're like I can't deny. I can't confirm or deny because the dog is sweet and innocent, and then but I don't want to. It's not like I want to put you. Look at the spot you put me in.
Mm-hmm.
When I told John I was coming down to Florida. I think the first thing he asked me was like, "Oh, are you bringing Leia?"
Really? Dark Matter?
It was funny.
You have a crush on this dog or what?
No.
He just loves my puppy.
Mm-hmm.
See how cute she is?
I see
Well,
how cute she is.
like half of the stuff that John and I share are cute animal things. So he's always trying to get me to like cats, and cats are shitty.
I don't.
Cat agenda.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen Chibi? My Shiba Inu?
No.
Or
yeah.
Yeah, he's a beautiful sesame Shiba Inu, but like, and he is fucking adorable. That dog like can't help but look cute. And it's
but you love your cat. You
yeah,
love your cat.
Keanu really
is just everything.
no, that cat loves me. I'm like, I feel bad for him that he's kind of locked up in this room, but like I said,
I think it's possible that Keanu is the real star of the goddamn podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Just to see the cat.
Keanu's the star, Chibi is the mascot, and I'm just sit there and make dumb jokes and let Dark Matter tag along. By the way, Dark Matter, I've got to send you some. I got to talk to you about fucking payment, which feels awkward.
Oh,
I got to know where to PayPal you.
Yeah, now you have to actually share the show with John.
Yeah, he's gone unpaid for quite some time.
I think I sent it to you.
Oh, okay. And I'll double check. Double check
on our phones or something.
Okay, I'll double check back, and if I can't find it, I'll let you know. It's fine, dude. So when you see that big time payday of whatever, like $16.25, then
then I'll know I was shortchanged 6 figures.
Yeah. What kind of numbers do you think we're pulling here, pal?
So, do you, TJ, remember the first time we met?
No.
No.
I'm sorry.
It was on. John used to have. He used to do Twitch streams on Fridays.
Oh God.
Do you remember? Used to call in, and we'd have a lot of times he'd just sit and chat with the stream. Sometimes he'd play video games, and sometimes he'd have you call in. I think I did a couple times, but there was one time when I think I was on, and we were chatting, and then you came on, and that was the first time we met. So,
oh God,
can't believe you don't remember that.
Oh, you have to forgive me. My memory is like completely shot. I drink, I smoke, I
was gonna say, is it all the pot? Is it?
Yeah, that probably doesn't help. I was gonna tell you why my short-term memory is so fucked up, but then I forgot what I was talking about. No, it's I've done way too many. Like, I forget if I've said things already on the podcast all the time, and people are like, yeah, you talked about it happens in my house, it happens at work. I'm just because I lose track of who I've informed of things and who I haven't, because there's, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's just the fact that it just
could be you're getting old too. I mean, we're not as old as John is.
I feel a little spread thin. Oh yeah, he's a fucking dinosaur, but I feel just like a little spread thin, and so I think it's like harder for me to stay focused on certain shit, and I'm letting, I don't know, I'm not spending the energy remembering things that not saying it's unimportant, but like where I need to fill that space with something else at the moment, you know what I mean? So a lot of oh God, I did probably 1,000 hours worth of fucking live streams before I even started the podcast, and I've forgotten most of it. Yeah. Although it was a really good time. I mean, with DPR Jones, I don't know if you ever knew him. He's, I mean, rest his soul, but he's friggin' he's just a lot of good people. Dark Matter used to come on these streams and do with his impersonations of all. I have a video called "The Best of Dark Matter 2525 Live," and it is nothing but streams we were in with Dark Matter, and he is imitating. Dude, he does Carl Sagan. He does. Have you heard these? Oh, you haven't heard these? They're fantastic.
I can't imagine him like, dude, he does to do that around me though, because
Shock of God. He does all of them. Oh God, the Shock of God one is fucking glorious.
I don't know why I stopped doing that.
I don't know. It was absolutely hilarious. Like I remember telling you this, Dark Matter, while I was making that video. It was, it's a long video, and I had to go through like hours and hours of footage to get all the clips I wanted. And it took like maybe 3 days to like, and I'm not working all day, all night, but like spending a couple hours or few hours on it over a course of like 3 or 4 days, and I would go to work and be excited to go home and fucking start working on that video again because that was so much fun to watch all of our old footage and everything. But again, like I've done thousands of hours worth of that shit, and I just like
Well, yeah,
I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember calling in on his being on his Twitch stream more than once. Like I know I did it once. Yeah, I just say I don't remember that at all. I'm terrible.
It's not like when you do live streams, it's not like it's you have a script or anything. It's just all off the cuff. So and then when you do hours and hours and hours of it, you don't remember everything. My friend Dave, Critical Cripple, used to do this show called Critical Questions, and he just asked a bunch of crazy questions, and there was a panel of us that would answer, and John would play along with me a lot. I would text him and ask him the questions during the show. But we started off because he did it during the pandemic. He started off as something to do during lockdown because he's in the UK and they couldn't go anywhere. So it was at like 8:30 in the morning every day, like 6 days a week for months. So that was like hours and hours and hours of all of those streams. I could not tell you for the life of me, anything that I said on there. And he's broken it down. So every day he releases one new question. So each stream had like 5, 6, 7 questions, but each day now it's still from like almost a year ago. He still, it's going to take a while to release every single question. But I look back and I like no earthly idea. Like I don't remember any of that. I remember having those conversations. So I get it. It's not.
Yeah, I mean
it's
and definitely don't like take it personally. It's not a like I know around the time period where I became aware of your channel and stuff. I remember when there was
you said my channel has a stick up its ass.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember saying that?
No, you apparently do.
This was like 2 weeks ago.
No way. 2 weeks ago? When did I see you?
No, it wasn't the last time I was on the goddamn podcast. It was the time before that. So it was like maybe a month ago. I was on the goddamn podcast, and yeah, Amanda's channel has to stick up its ass, so that's fine.
Did I really say that? Can you all right go back and timestamp where I said that somebody and
I'll go find it. I will.
Oh my goodness.
It's fine. I just think
that's terrible of me.
I think you were and I knew you were joking, TJ. It's fine. But
okay.
I think you were comparing like my channel to the goddamn podcast. But I'm sure, have you ever seen any of my live streams, or have you only seen my edited climate videos? Because those are actually serious.
Yeah, I saw the edited climate videos, and I saw a couple with Dark Matter.
Yeah, and that's just
one of them was like an interview.
Well, no, I mean, like I've done streams where, like, who Dr. Josh is. I've had him on a few times. One was we were talking about Old Testament law. I've had Robert Reed come on talk about how much the South sucks and how racist it is here. But I've also had streams where we've talked shit about anti-vaxxers or climate deniers and made jokes about that. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll probably end up
a huge stick up my ass, I swear.
No, I whatever joke or point I was trying to make, I know that you're a relaxed person. I don't feel like I'm on eggshells around you. I'll tell you what, I got really lucky and I was on a show called the Skeptic Fence Show, and I had access to all kinds of fucking big names. And authors and like doctors and like just incredible Lawrence Krauss and just like a ton of different freaking people, and I don't know how the hell Joe convinced them to be on the show, but he was really good at it. And they would come on, and we would just kind of, it was great. We had Aaron Raw on one week, and I would ask like the hard hitting questions. That was like the joke. And I asked Aaron Raw what the evolutionary benefit of having a Fu Manchu was, and he got a fucking big kick out of that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. Those days were pretty wild. And Dark Matter was a guest on there a couple times. Yeah,
Aaron's been on here a few times. Aaron did my first Living Critically, which is the show that I do on Sunday, the stream I do Sunday nights. He was my first guest. He came on. John and I used to do secular Sunday services, so we'd have a big panel of people come on and talk about something. The first one that we did was with Holy Kool-Aid and Aaron and GE and Robert Reed and Aaron Lewis and John. And
I remember seeing some of the Twitter theists making fun, like, look, the atheists having a literal church now. Like,
oh yeah,
like we call it that on purpose. I mean, we're just being serious.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, it's like they're pushing that whole and I think we were just talking about this the other day. Atheism is a religion thing.
Yeah.
You know, how do you argue against that when they say something like that?
Well, you say atheism is a religion.
Foster's? I'm sorry. Are you drinking Foster's?
Yes.
It's beer.
Oh my God,
it's
TJ, that's
Australian
fucking nasty.
No, there's nothing wrong
Do
with
you know
Foster's.
any Australians? Because they will tell you that they barely even sell that shit in Australia.
I know. I've been to Australia. I've been to Australia before. This is literally because I did not. First of all, they were on sale, which is a big help for me. Well, yeah, if I'm gonna have a bad habit, I'm not gonna go broke doing it. Damn it. So yeah, but they were like, I think it was
better, cheaper beer than that.
The store right up the street from me, it was buy 3 get 2 free. So that's actually a pretty decent deal. And I was like, whatever. 5 of those is like a fucking 12 pack because they're giant ass cans. So yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted myself in that, but yeah, gross.
Yeah, you got me way off my train of thought. I got a regular, and then the next one I've got is the premium.
Here we witness Octopus's descent into alcoholism. In the cheapest.
Is that Sagan?
Yes, Manda, you now have a bigger guest on your show than Octopus Prime ever did.
How have you never done that for me?
I have just now been introduced to you, Manda, by the handsome and intelligent Dark Matter 2525. Thank you, Dark Matter, for introducing me to Manda. Oh, you're welcome, Sagan. Please come closer to the mic and have at it. You're more than welcome to use my mic. Thank you very much, Dark Matter. Now on to Octopus's alcoholism.
Yeah. Tell them about the time you rode the infinite plane of DPR's penis.
That's really out of context, TJ. I don't think that Sagan wants to talk about that. Is it more
out of context than the butt wall?
Oh yeah, butt wall porn. Incestuous butt wall porn is Dark Matter's bag.
That's
baby.
Not. No. Look,
it'll go on your fucking in your obituary.
How many times do I have to explain this? That
by the way, we made this son of a bitch explain this to Mrs. Dark Matter
15 times. Yeah, I explained it live. I explained it to my own wife, and she's still married to me, so it obviously can't be that bad.
Right.
Poor Lisa puts up with so much shit with you, though.
Yeah,
you know it.
Oh, it's
the butt wall porn thing was shared because I thought it was hilarious, and it was actually even showed on the show once, if you recall. It's when people. It was this Japanese game show where these various people's stuck their butts through holes in the wall, and the contestant had to pick one of them to do stuff to. But the thing is it was like the Russian roulette of butt walls, because one of the butts was a family member. So, or no, I think more than one. I think it was like different family members. It was funny. Okay, it was funny. And I made the mistake of sharing it because like look at this funny thing, and then now they think it's not. They think it's my big fetish. It's not.
Dude, he talks about how funny it is, but he doesn't tell you how furiously he was masturbating while he laughed maniacally.
Did you tap into my? You didn't tap into my cameras, did you? What the hell?
No.
Maniacal laugh. No, I think I might have like popped into that stream in the middle of that discussion one day, or one of the days you were. Yeah, it was absolutely completely random, but I'm glad that it's a running theme now.
So you're still friends with me, and my wife is still married to me. So obviously I normally people that would have been enough to check out, but I think that is a testament to my looks, wit, charm, and intellect that people are willing to stay in my life, even after all the slander and libel that TJ spreads around.
So, okay, it's slander and libel now.
No,
like you mean
only if you can prove it in court.
Cat pictures.
Mm-hmm. He can't prove anything in court, dude. You show him. You show the fucking jury a picture, or the judge a picture of this son of a bitch eating pizza with a fork, or biting across the entire Kit Kat, or hugging a case of Dasani, and then be like, case dismissed. There's nothing you can say about this man that is incorrect.
Well, that's okay. He has plenty of ammunition. I'm sure for both of us. Remember, like I bought this lamp a few months ago that it has this little button at the top that you have to like lightly tap to turn it on and off, and then you have to like kind of rub it in a circle to change colors on the lamp. So I called it my clit lamp, and I couldn't figure it out. It was like, it was as if the lamp had a clit. So I texted John. I was like, "Oh, I finally mastered my clit lamp." He took it and he just cut the lamp part out of it, and was like, so it just had a Photoshop of me saying, "I finally mastered my clit." So
it's fantastic. Well, I'm proud of you.
This is the woman in charge of saving our environment, everyone.
That's right. That's right. You're welcome.
Yo, can't handle climate change until you know how to change.
This is why we're all completely fucked, though. So some fault.
Yeah, no, we really are fucked. We're like past the point of no return.
We made the joke of, because the conference that I'm going to next month is in Florida, and it's the first conference that we've actually gone to or supposed to. I don't know if they're still going to have it in person, but it was supposed to be the first conference that we've done in person since like the pandemic hit. And a bunch of us made the joke that we were actually holding off on saving the planet until Florida sunk into the ocean, because it's Florida and you two live there. So you two choose to live there.
I didn't choose to live. If nobody said, "Here's a map of the U.S. Where the fuck do you want to live?" Like I got stuck here like everyone else. I can't leave. I have elderly parents, and a mortgage. I mean, I got myself into that. I chose, but that's because rent is fucking ridiculous. But I didn't choose to move here. I literally came here with my folks from overseas, and just kind of, I've moved away, but only like an hour and a half away from them. I went to school.
Where were you from originally, though?
I was born in Atlanta, but
that's right.
I didn't really live there for any length of time. Spent some time in like Washington State as a baby, and then I've lived in Saudi Arabia I've lived in the
But
Marshall
you're still
Islands.
technically from Georgia. Like people, just John will, make the argument when they say, "Oh, he's from Florida." I'm not from Florida. I just live here. I say the same thing about Georgia. I'm not from Georgia. I just happen to live here. So
I was born in Atlanta, or at least that's what I was told. I don't know, man.
At least you were told. I was being told.
And they also told me I was born in 1981, but that can't be true because, I mean, look at me. I look way
that's
too young.
right. We're the same age. Mm. Mm. No, we're not as ancient as see. Oh, this was supposed to be you and me against CJ, John. What are you doing?
How could
told
it be?
You I'd bring you
how
over
could it
to
be?
the dark side.
How could you be the same age when it's pale blue mama and then pale blue mummy down there in the lower left? Doesn't look like the same age to me.
There we go. That's better.
Dude, your thumbnail looks like
him.
Yeah, your thumbnail looks like a fucking. You've got like sock tan on your head. That's what it looks like. Just so you know.
What's sock tan?
It's like where you wear socks and get a tan on your legs, and so your feet are still incredibly white.
I got you. Sock tan.
So I know that both of you are big, with the arguments on Twitter. What are your most recent ones? Anything fun?
Of course.
I've been taking mostly a break from Twitter for a little while right now, but
which is wise.
Yeah, I mean it's.
You mean a break from Ian Miles Chong?
Oh, I unfollowed that son of a bitch. It was so bad because everything that he even liked would show up in my feed, and it was the most ridiculous stuff, and it was just like mind-numbing. And I was like, maybe I'll check it out on my own, like search him up, but I'm not. I don't want to be inundated. That following that one single person, like, completely changed the way I would like. Unfollowing them has changed my Twitter 100%, like for the better.
Exactly. And just think about the people who follow 100 people like Ian Miles Strong. That's how they get a totally distorted view of reality. Mine is Lauren Chen. Like most of the big conservatives have blocked me, except for Lauren Chen and Paul Joseph Watson. So I'm still following those two. And Paul hardly ever posts, but Lauren Chen is always liking and posting the dumbest shit. So she has a dramatically negative effect on my feed, but I keep following because it's a good way to stay out of your echo chamber and hear what's going on with, in other spheres of influence. And that's where 90% of my arguing goes. Like, I see something she liked and it's so dumb that I can't ignore it. I have to argue with the people, and they're all in their neat little echo chamber. You go in there and no one's arguing with them. So I'm like, well, I got to get in there and tell these people why they're wrong. And you can't do that on Twitter. You can't tell someone they're wrong on Twitter. I mean, that never works.
Well, I don't understand. I do, as you explained, but people that actually follow the people that they hate, though, I'll stumble upon it. But if you're following them, then they always show up, or their likes always show up, and that would drive me insane.
Yeah. I mean, there's since I'm blocked by so many of them, it limits my ability to know what's going on with conservatives and with the far right. So I have an account that I never made a single tweet with. It's just a blank account, and it just follows maybe 30 or 40 conservative and far right people that have a lot of influence, so that I could keep a finger on the pulse of what's going on with them. And whenever I check that account, it's just wall to wall batshit insanity, total upside down world, just totally disconnected from reality. We're in the middle of an apocalypse right now. Biden is destroying the world. That's what it's like.
I actually stumbled across, because I have my feelings on anything anti-science. And of course, on the forefront of it right now is all the anti-vax and anti-mask stuff. And I stumbled across one yesterday that was just a list of like vaccines don't work, and it was all the things. It was just like a list of all the normal anti-vax talking points, and they complained about it because I guess if a tweet is reported and it has COVID misinformation stuff, you can't like it and you can't like comment on it, but you can still, it's still there, and you can still quote tweet it and stuff. So, or you could still just retweet it, which is dumb. But anyway, so I said to this woman, I was like, how do you sleep with yourself at night? Like, how do you know that the things that you're spreading are causing people to make these decisions? This is actually killing people, this misinformation you're spreading. How do you live with yourself? And she went off on how, oh, well, my mother was vaccinated and now she has heart palpitations and she has to take blood thinners the rest of her life. And before I could even address that at all, like, she had blocked me, so there was nothing I could do. But I looked, it was a whole long thread of just a fuck ton of people all saying, like, before it got reported and you couldn't like comment on it or anything before that, it was just a lot of people saying, oh, good for you, I totally agree, this is the truth and we need to get the truth out there. And it's so disheartening to know that so many people believe this and continue to push this lie. I don't know what we're supposed to do with that, because so many people continue to die. Do you guys think that Biden's new vaccine mandates are going to make any difference at all?
No, the people that don't want to get them are like, at this point, you're either actively avoiding it or are, like, just lazy, or I mean, there's still a small percentage of people who are like waiting it out to make sure there's no side effects or whatever before they get it. But that's not the majority. The majority of the people that are unvaccinated are nutty ass anti-vaxxers. I saw a fucking cartoon and it was the Twin Towers, but it was two arms and the planes were syringes flying into the arms.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like,
think of how many lives have been saved because of those vaccines. Hundreds of thousands. I wanted to give you guys a kind of an update on what's going on with us, because my son had COVID. He's too young to get a vaccine. He's 9 years old. Otherwise we would have got him one, but he had COVID. He was sick for a couple of days, which is what prompted us to give him a test, and he came up positive. And we gave him, that was about a week ago, maybe a little more than a week ago. And he's been normal after those 2 days of sickness. He's been mostly, fine, seems totally normal. And we gave him a test just tonight, and it came back negative.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
so we're
great.
really happy about that. Even though with kids the risks have been lower than with the elderly, and the older people, it's still disconcerting because this has killed a lot of people, including a few hundred children. But the thing,
I think it's like 250 in Florida alone.
Yeah, it's more than people think. But my wife and I got vaccinated as soon as we were able to, and we live with our son who was who was not vaccinated, who had COVID. We live with him, but we didn't take any precautions because we figured, well, you know what, we live with him, we have to take care of him. So we gave him a kiss goodnight. We didn't stop doing that. We ate leftovers he had. All kinds. Give him hugs. Didn't stop any of the usual stuff, and neither of us got COVID. And so the vaccines really did work for us. I know you can technically still get it if you're vaccinated, but it lowers your chances. And we live with someone with COVID and didn't get it.
It not only lowers your chances, but lessens the severity of the symptoms.
Yeah.
Or at least the chance of you ending up in the hospital or intubated, or especially dead. That the numbers on that are much lower.
And
I mean, I admittedly had been, before Sammy got sick, I was just on edge, because knowing that, you're in Florida, first of all, and the fact that, your governor fights so hard against attempting to keep anybody safe whatsoever, and there's only so much you as a parent can do, to protect them, and not having a child that's too young to get the vaccine. It's just, that there was that one little girl that was 4 years old. She got a fever. Parents took her to the hospital, and she was dead within hours. And she was a completely healthy little girl. And all the people that keep saying, "Oh, it barely affects children. Most children are fine with it." Will you be, even if it is just a small amount, you be the one parent that this happens to. You go say that to their face. "Oh, only a small amount of kids are affected by it." It doesn't fucking matter.
An acceptable amount of like freaking innocent children dying, so you can like get off on your anti-mask, anti-vax bullshit.
I want to address some misinformation in the chat by Flow State. That's not true. You're not considered unvaccinated until 14 days after your second shot. You're considered partially vaccinated. That's the category they put you in. It's called partially vaccinated. So the actual manipulation going on is the one that whatever caused you to say that.
Yeah.
After your first shot,
so much of it, though.
it's considered partial vaccination.
I have a friend that's still hasn't gotten vaccinated yet. He's not a Trumper. He's not stupid. Like, he keeps telling me that he just doesn't know. He's unsure. There's so much information out there. And I'm like, well, you can't, and he's listing off all of these things that he's heard. And I'm like, well, you can't give, the credible science and data the same weight as the shit you're hearing online from anti-vaxxers. It's, they shouldn't get the equal amount of representation or weight. Hey, ask questions. I understand it. Things like the fact that, oh, well, this is a brand new vaccine, but it's not, though. They have vaccines for COVID before. This one was just, designed specifically for COVID-19 itself. Like, COVID is something that's been around for a while. It's a zoonotic disease that we've had to deal with as a species. Little things like that, stuff that could be easily explained away, but they hear the tiniest little difference in whatever they're reading online, or a lot of times fucking Facebook. Facebook is awful with this shit, and they get scared and latch onto it.
A lot of stuff, you'll have information that is either, misread or misreported or exaggerated or whatever by the media. And the same thing happens in social media, and they'll all put more weight on one than the other or whatever. But like certain things, like you can still spread the virus if you're vaccinated. You have like 10 times less of a chance of spreading it if you're vaccinated. But people don't know that, or they don't.
No. And not only that, but they'll give weight to like vaccine shedding as the reason why there's more cases and shit like that. So they don't just deny the facts. Then they then believe the absolute most ridiculous bullshit.
Or if they don't report partially vaxxed as a category, like that's the complaint here. Well, the data, like the way they actually count the data is, unvaxxed, partially vaxxed, or fully vaxxed. Like, and if the media, if there's some news outlet that doesn't report it that way, well, that's the fault of the news outlet. Okay. And that's the same thing like with that I got into an argument with on Twitter with, that Manda showed me this dude who it's like he kept arguing about, the scientists thought that the ice age was going to come by now. You can, and it's like, if you look into that, you can see that there were 6 times more scientists. The vast majority of scientists back in the 70s, when this claim was made, believed that the warming would occur, which is what they still believe, that the majority still believes. There was a couple of scientists who speculated on a cooling, and then it was the news that ran with that for sensationalism. It wasn't the scientists, it was the news. And you have to try to explain to these people, look, these aren't scientists making these claims. The scientists said it was going to do that have been consistent throughout the decades. It was the news reporters that ran with this story. And
well, that's a big problem, though, is the clickbait type of headlines. And I know that in the 70s clickbait wasn't a thing, but it's the same idea, is that they will take something that we've said and kind of latch onto it and make it seem like that's all that we were talking about. The fact is, we're in an ice age.
Right.
We were supposed to be headed toward a glacial period, which we are not because of the warming of the global temperatures. And also the fact that, yes, the data does change. The fact that we had something like the Montreal Protocol, and I think it was 1984, sometime in the 80s, the Montreal Protocol, which made everybody stop using chlorofluorocarbons. That ended up closing up all of the ozone holes, or the ozone layer holes. That made a difference. The fact that we did something and it allowed for the holes to close, and
what's maddening
that stuff.
You know what's maddening about that? We took measures to fix that, and it worked. So the way they interpret that is, look, they made this prediction and it didn't happen. Were wrong when they were 100% right and took the steps to fix it. And that's why it didn't happen. Not because they were wrong, but because they were right and took steps.
Exactly. It's not that they just don't believe the facts. They then have to believe the furthest thing from the truth. It's like a weird addiction to misinformation and disinformation. People are that dumb and that gullible. Don't doubt it for a fucking minute.
And it's the same thing with the world's gonna end in 12 years, when nobody said that. They just said that 12 years is going to be a line that we cross where it will be difficult or impossible to reverse course. Not that the world will end.
I like flow state. Says ozone is make believe. Just kidding.
Oh. But the thing is too that when we do course correct and are able, we say, yes, at this time, if we continue this way and do not change at all, then yes, this is going to happen. And we try, it's hard because we try not to make too many huge predictors like that. Especially, I complain about Al Gore a lot because his little movie kind of screwed us over, because people expected. He made a lot of really bold predictions that even if the science were exactly correct and if we had stayed true, it was a lot of fear mongering in order to make change, which I understand, but it ended up screwing us over in the long run. But there's a difference between science and like religion. Religion will always stick to what they said, and it never changes. Where science is something that, especially with something like climate science, which is a relatively new discipline, hasn't been around for a super long time, and we're still learning. But yeah, things in science, not in science change, but we make new discoveries or understand things better and are able to change our predictions or whatnot. But they really don't like that. If we change our mind at all or say anything's different, they kind of lose their minds, because they expect, like their religion, for everything to stay exactly as predicted, exactly the same. And that's just not how science works. And how do you fight against something like that?
I'm with Infidel, who says birds aren't real. I'm with you, bro. Pigeons are a lie.
That's such a crazy one. The people that think that all the birds are like robots and shit.
Cameras.
Also, ornithologists are pervs.
Yep.
by the way.
There's a lot of weird shit people believe out there. They will literally sit there on their tracking device complaining on social media to the world, for the world to see that they're being like tracked.
I saw somebody made a tweet where they were bitching about like Apple tracking people, and you could see that they tweeted from a fucking iPhone, like it says from iPhone. Like
Ian Miles Chong like was putting out tweets promoting that Freedom Phone, saying that he loved its performance and he's been using it nonstop, and it was like sent from iPhone.
I love that it's the people that claim that the vaccine is putting a tracker in us, but again, everybody's phone is a tracker, and also, who the fuck are you that anybody gives a fuck enough to track you? Like,
dude, they need
honestly.
to track Jethro down at the fucking trailer park. They need to know what he's been up to. I don't know. They also think it like I've seen people like I literally went to high school with, not just complete random strangers, and they're like, does anyone else notice the vaccinated are all talking like robots now? And I'm like, wait. We're the crazy ones
Really?
now? Is that what's going on? Fuck's sake, man. Go consult your crystals. Go consult your crystals, you crazy bitch.
Or saying it's magnetized and they would pull out the keys, except keys aren't magnetized, so it wouldn't work anyway, but we had that discussion. What did you say, TJ? They just need to fucking wash themselves?
Yeah, they're a bunch of sticky bitches.
Sticky bitches. That's the word I was remembering.
Yeah, man. Like, dude, like seriously, if a key sticks to you, a brass key, it's not magnets. It's fucking you're a sticky bitch and you need to go take a bath. That's
and
it.
They make up these things about the vaccines too, about like women that are becoming infertile. And I heard somebody say that not only did it cause women to be infertile, but if you're a woman that's around a vaccinated woman, you could become infertile as well. Like, where? They have to, like, this is clearly coming from no credible science whatsoever. So they just literally making anything up at this point. I don't understand where they come up with this shit.
Well, don't worry, they're all dewormed now.
The irony is doesn't ivermectin cause sterility? And and COVID, it gives you a higher chance of getting erectile dysfunction. So I mean, and also there's been a lot of people who have been conceived after COVID, after people have gotten vaccinated for COVID.
Actually, wasn't there like a boom because of the quarantine? A lot more people were.
Yeah.
So this is the world's worst population control scheme I've ever seen in my life.
Right. It's if it's going to stop them from breeding or whatever because they can't get it up or their swimmers don't work anymore, that's fine.
I've seen them.
It's like the opposite of what was that movie? Shit. Starts with an I, and they end up all stupid. I can't remember.
Idiocracy.
Thank you. You know how because it was the smart people that don't end up breeding, and therefore, but that's not really how intelligence works. However, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, opposite now.
Yeah, we came from a much less intelligent species. That like if only the dumb, if it's like the same argument as the put all the gay people on an island and they'll dissipate. Like no, that's gay people come from fucking straight people, and in the most cases, in the vast majority of cases. Anyway, damn it, I had a good point to make, but I'm smoking too much. I guess it'll come to me.
It'll come to me.
Should I share my idea of how to get people to wear masks?
Yeah.
Okay. So
no. I remember real quick. Okay. I've seen people say that unvaccinated men's sperm is going to be the new Bitcoin.
Oh.
I've seen people fucking say that like it's gonna, because the vaccinated guys, their sperm is like gonna be useless. So we're the only ones that are gonna keep the race going. You like, I'm like, oh, dude, like, please, ma'am, may I have a crumb? I've got unvaccinated sperm.
Yeah, I think I saw some woman tweet the other day about like how much it's going to be. Oh, well, you're the only one. The unvaccinated are the ones with the real sperm or whatever. Like, yeah, that's insane. But anyway, so masks, getting people to wear masks. If we made up a disease that caused people to become gay, and it was something that was spread through the air, don't you think that would make them all want to wear masks?
Oh, dude, they'd be wearing full respirators.
See, because I think about like you've seen those pictures back from like the early 80s.
Oh, I thought you were
like,
gonna say
Republican...
like, the one of dark matter on the screen because if that looks about it, I mean, nothing wrong with being gay, dark matter, but Jesus.
Oh, come on, TJ, you would hit that. You know it.
No, I might tip it $1 at the male strip club if I got drugged there by some
$1.
$1. No, yeah, that's more than. I mean, look. That's a total butter face, if you ask me. It's TJ, a butter's face.
My minimum is 1 Bitcoin.
Where should I stick that Bitcoin, dark matter?
Right into my
account. I mean, like he said, Bitcoin and sperm is going to be the same thing. So,
Oh, yeah, and I'm unvaccinated, so
I want Bitcoin all over my face.
Yeah. Look, I'm unvaccinated not because I question the vaccine, it's because I'm basically I have a busy schedule and I'm lazy. I mean, if you want the honest to God truth. And then I got COVID, and so now I have to wait anyway. So it's
how long do you have to wait?
I believe it's 3 months.
Oh, because we were wondering that about.
Is it what is it?
Are you sure?
Well, maybe for the one that they were offering, whichever vaccine they recommended, wait 3 months after getting it to be vaccinated.
Talk about yourself.
Whatever. It sucked. It definitely sucked. It was not what I wanted, and I knew it was going to happen. Like if I kept going the way I was going and Florida was blowing the fuck up, I'm not an idiot. And I'm pretty sure I got it from work. Or I could have, the only other possibility is that my daughter picked it up from school, but she was like largely unaffected by it. For me, it was a lot.
How bad is your daughter's school with cases and stuff?
It's not too bad right now. Honestly, I think a lot of those kids have already fucking had it. Florida's getting to the point where we're like racing towards herd immunity, because so many fucking people like are just. I mean, the cases are blowing up. We'll eventually hit that percentage where the majority of people have already been exposed to it, and then it'll take like a new stronger variant or something to get people worried again. And that's the downside. People don't understand how viruses work. They really like, all the people that were fucking economics professionals online all of a sudden became like foreign affairs experts, and then all of a sudden they become fucking medical experts. They're experts on everything. They don't know. That's the problem with dumb people, is they don't fucking know how dumb they are. A smart person knows the limits of their fucking intelligence and their knowledge.
My son, the Georgia goes to school before a lot of the country. And in fact, I think he was the first kid I knew of all my friends that had gone back. They went back really early, and actually it was later because they usually go back at the beginning of July. I think they went at the beginning of August. But anyway, they started on a Tuesday. By Friday, there were four or five cases already reported in his school. By the next Monday, there were another 8 on top of that. They weren't making the kids wear masks at that point, but Angel was. It was him, like he was getting a lot of shit from the MAGA kids, all teasing him for wearing the mask, even though he was also vaccinated too. And then within a week, they're like, no, everybody has to wear the mask. So,
well, it's funny, dude. The term MAGA kids, Like it seems like, how can you be like an adolescent and fucking be like taken in by Trump?
Because he's an
It's
asshole.
more about their parents. Like they
Yeah.
just And I wonder because Angel is very, very left wing. He has a lot of my politics basically. He thinks a lot the same way. He's a LGBTQ advocate and that kind of stuff. But I wonder. I hope it. I don't want to be the kind of parent that makes their kid think the same way and that they do. I don't know. I've tried to instill values upon him that he keeps, but I know that on the other side, these kids, Angel like knows his shit when it comes to politics and stuff like that. He watches a lot. He watches like Jesse Dollamore and he watches a few things on YouTube for politics. See what reads as much as possible. He knows what's going on when it comes to politics and everything like that. Whereas the MAGA kids, they're just spouting what their parents say. They don't have any idea and honestly, do their parents really know? They're just mouthpieces and echoing what their parents believe, and that gets spread around. So it's just, I don't know. But I hope that I'm not making him believe a certain way. I want him to think for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. And most people that it's a weird thing to think that like the conservatives are like the hardcore pro freedom people, because they've got more like rules, and they like to like ostracize those that don't think along. They want to say, oh, like, we love free speech, but then like when they hear something they don't like, they whine about it.
They want it banned.
Yeah, and freaking like a lot of them, if they didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. It's like they'll make fun of the left wing for boycotting something right before they boycott something, and then they like go woke, get woke, or was it get woke, go broke?
Go broke, yeah.
Oh Jesus, fucking like, and then they go like burn their Nikes. Bitch, you already bought them.
Yeah, you bought them already.
You already fucking bought them. It's not doing it now. You just out of a pair of shoes, you fucking moron.
Something I was gonna bring up. I have a couple articles opened. What do you think about the amount of violence that seems to be spreading because of this, because of what the right is pushing? Like, hold on. There was one guy that killed his neighbors, he killed the neighbor's wife. This one Texas man attacked couple, killed the wife and shot the husband 5 times, but the husband lived because they voted for Biden and they mocked Trump. People that are this one says that a customer refused to wear a mask at a Wells Fargo bank, waited in the parking lot to violently ambush the manager at the end of his shift. So he just sat around because he was pissed off that he was asked to leave because he didn't wear a mask, and literally sat in the parking lot and waited and beat the shit out of the manager because he was asked to wear a mask. There seems to be a lot of this happening, the violence spreading because of the insanity that the misinformation that the right is spreading. Have you guys noticed that as well?
I mean, I've noticed the trend. I don't usually experience stuff like that directly too much.
Well, nobody's gonna fuck with you, TJ. You're like a giant.
Yeah, I'm a big guy, so most people don't like, whatever their problem is, they don't bring it up with me. It's actually kind of nice. I'm not a like violent person at all, but it's nice to just not have to be fucked with in the first place, because people are intimidated.
Unlike short people like John. What?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm taller than you.
You're taller than me by an inch.
I'll tell you. I have TJ's. I have TJ's same deal. Nobody ever messes with me.
Because you're wide, huge though. You're a big dude. You're scary looking.
No, he's not.
You're just short. That's all.
Mm.
But there's that woman
I'm
that
incredibly tough looking, TJ.
I'm sorry, bro.
You know he is. You know he is.
He's not like
He's
dorky
short.
looking. He's just like, whatever. Like, look, I wouldn't think twice if he said something about my mama. I'd fucking pop him one. Put it that way.
You'd pop air is what you would pop
because I'd hit you in the head and you're an airhead.
No. You'd get all cocky, you'd throw your big swing, and then you'd be like, "What? Where is he?" And then all of a sudden, you're on the ground and you don't know why. But I'll tell you,
you're sticking a Bitcoin up my ass.
Yeah, I'll tell. Don't worry. I mean, I'll tell you why after you come out of it. But
yeah. Remember that John is also a master of martial arts as well. So
not a master, but.
Mm-hmm.
I was a head instructor, but not technically a master.
I didn't mean it technically. I meant you know what I meant.
Dark matter will tell you that I am a master, a drunken master.
Yeah.
So but it doesn't matter. People like dark matter. I'm never gonna have to like freaking box with. You know what I mean? Because he's sensible and logical. It's the irrational nut job, or back in the day when I actually like used to go out to to shows like local bands and stuff. When you're the biggest guy at the place, a lot of people like that's their, I don't know, they want to treat it like it's prison, like they got something to prove or some shit, and they like go out of their way to start shit with you. But I learned to deal with most people like that. Again, I'm not a violent person. I'm not just gonna like, I'm not looking for a fucking fight. And
you don't need to be.
No,
you're just intimidating as it is.
I'll never forget.
It says 28 days from after you are cleared of it. But I'm going to ask my friend Dr. Stephen Hobbs about it. He is a immunologist or virologist, I can't remember, but he would know. So I will ask, and but it's not 3 months. So
okay, right on. Maybe I got the wrong information. Yeah, that means I just a week or two, and I'll be able to go get that.
And you're gonna go get it, right?
Yeah, I have absolutely no problem like getting.
Not gonna. No, I mean I know, but you're not gonna like keep putting it off and be lazy about it.
I will try. I will really try not to. I have a CVS right up the street from me. I should be able to go pop in and get it taken care of in like half an hour. Shouldn't be a problem.
See, people don't think about like the fact that a lot of most people survive getting sick and stuff like that, but there are a lot of side effects and a lot of long-term effects that happen. How many people do you know that got coronavirus and can't smell or taste anymore, or their lung capacity is greatly diminished?
Well, I don't know about the lung capacity part, but I definitely lost my taste and smell, and that shit sucked. That part alone, like for me, it started off with a severe achiness from like, especially from my knees up to my hips. It was like this weird, and I figured maybe I'm just getting old, or I did something that is that's making me sore that I I'm not thinking about or whatever. And that lasted for like 2 days, almost 3 days before finally a little bit of a fever came, a little bit of a cough, the congestion. Like there was a big gap between just feeling a little bit sore and the other symptoms coming. But yeah, then I definitely realized it was flu-like symptoms, and that it was fucking COVID.
Have you gotten your taste and smell back yet?
Yes, thank God. Because that was I lost. I'm 6'6", and so when I lose, and I have a wide frame, so when I lose like 15 pounds, it's not like really noticeable, because it's spread out over so much. But I probably lost about 15 pounds. But yeah, it's it takes away all motivation for me to eat. First of all, it kills your appetite in the first place, but then you can't fucking taste any. I ate a spinach and bacon salad with a sweet onion vinaigrette. Sounds fantastic, right? With no taste.
No.
It was fucking wet spinach with like it, you know, it's just texture. And when you chew spinach, it becomes like slimy in your. It's. I don't think I'm going to eat spinach for a while. Put it that way. It's like ruined the when you can't taste it. It's a totally different experience when it's texture based. So yeah, and then I was lucky. I only lost mine for like maybe a week. I've heard of other people losing it for 6 to 8 weeks, which is horrifying. I was like, dude, yeah, I would be a fucking beanpole by the time like 2 months of that was over because I just could not make myself eat.
The implications of that is that it's having a neurological effect. Like that's not something to take lightly. People take this shit lightly, and it shouldn't be. Like these, like yeah, you're right. It's not just death; it's these other symptoms, and even like long term. But I was thinking about the people that say, well, 90, you know, that jokingly say, you know, 99% survival rate, so scared, right? And I was just thinking about that today. If you like, I thought of this analogy. Would you be comfortable, like, if there was a revolver that could hold 100 rounds? Would you be comfortable playing Russian roulette with that thing before you're allowed to go to the grocery store? Like, I mean, you're probably going to survive. It's a literal 99% survival rate with this Russian roulette. But still, how are you going to feel when you pull that trigger? Is that something you want to do?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes no sense.
99% sounds like a lot until you are playing with even bigger numbers like the US population. So
yeah,
even 1% of the US population is how many? 3.3?
Yeah.
3.3 million people. So 90 and by the way, this is the pop quiz. The COVID-19 is like the pop quiz when the fucking real bad shit comes around that kills 10% or 20%. Imagine the fucking shit show that will happen. This was the pop quiz and we failed miserably.
To address something in the chat, there's no Democrat saying that 10% of the population is dying from it. That is not, nobody said that. I don't know where you're getting that from, but yeah, TJ is not wrong. In fact, there's if you go back and look through my climate change videos, I talk about this. Climate change itself is, you know, one of the reasons that we had coronavirus. The spreading out of climate zones, the fact that these areas that house animals that you know, or because COVID is a zoonotic disease, as I mentioned earlier, which means that we got it from an animal, and climate zones, as they continue to spread, where the coronavirus, this one came from, and we think, pretty sure it came from a bat. Over 100 species of bats that can carry the coronavirus have been able to move into this area over the past, I think it's decade and a half, because of global warming, because of the fact that these temperatures have risen and allowed for these areas to expand. So we are putting ourselves in this position, and next time we aren't going to be so lucky. Next time it's going to be something that will take out a much larger chunk of the population. And what are we going to do then? Is there an acceptable death rate that's going to make people say, oh, maybe we should do something about this? Maybe we should.
You think the assholes? Yeah, do you think the assholes that are like, everyone got to die of something, give a fuck when it hits 10%? They don't. They just like, whatever, man. And if it's like a meteor like heading towards the Earth, and like, should we try and nuke it? Like, whatever, man. Planets to go extinct, man. That's the universe, bro. Like, no. These are they're tough because they think they're immune. Like all the fucking conservative radio hosts that like were anti-vax and all that shit. That literally, it's like a weird thing. Like it targets them. There have been like at least a dozen conservative radio hosts that have died after making anti-vax statements. Yeah. At least a dozen, and the number keeps rising
because they don't take it seriously.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh man, I regret it. it has to hit them either personally, like hit them, like you have to catch it and be intubated before you're like, give a shit about it, or you have to have someone in your family like almost die from it, and then all of a sudden it's like important to you, until then like they don't give a shit because it's strangers or some shit.
There was one conservative talk radio host that actually went and was like, I'm going to go try to get it, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to be fine. Nothing's going to happen. And he ended up dead because of it.
I just found out that a guy that used to work with us died from it. His name was Charlie. Fucking rest in peace, dude. Like, really cool guy. And
I don't understand the hypocrisy, though, of them all claiming, like they don't want to take the vaccine or whatever because it's unproven or it's not FDA approved, but then they end up with the ivermectin or whatever the fuck. And I don't get
they think
that
they're smarter than the fucking like professionals.
Wait, can I answer? Can I answer Flow State? He doesn't believe that a bunch of right-wing radio talk show hosts died of COVID. He says name 3: Dick Farrell, Phil Valentine, Mark Bernier, Caleb Wallace.
I saw a tweet 4. The other day.
You said name
that
3.
Had it was 4, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. It was like conservative sheriffs or freaking police department chiefs or whatever, like all these people that were like so proud of themselves to be ridiculously uninformed and to spread the misinformation on Facebook before the same police department is announcing that they've died. And then of course half the time they won't even say it was of COVID, even though it was, because it's fucking embarrassing.
What can you imagine what a stain that is on your whole legacy? Like, you live your whole life and then you die in this really embarrassing way. It kind of like taints your whole life.
Oh, well, I mean, but well, in terms of like Herman Cain, like who already tainted himself, like he was a pretty successful guy that could have just like probably been fine if he just stayed away from the like being a right-wing token black guy. That my favorite is that Herman Cain like smile and thumbs up when I'm replying to like anti-vaxxers and shit, because Herman Cain, as you all know, died because he attended a fucking Trump rally and contracted coronavirus.
Yeah,
I don't know, like it's hard to feel sympathy for people like that, man. It really is.
Do they end up in kind of martyrs in a sense, though? Like,
no, not at all. They get forgotten. The right wing has a fucking a memory of like a goldfish. They like to, everything that disproves or goes against what they like to believe, they fucking ignore or shun or block from their fucking memories. They do not like that shit at all. They like to make excuses for it. It's always like the media's fault or the Democrats' fault or the left wing or the woke culture, or like they've got their go-tos, and then like that's it. Any problem that occurs is because of that. Like the problem in Afghanistan is because of Biden. It's not because Bush, you know what I mean? Like that kind of mentality. How do you even fucking work with that?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he made mistakes, but
he botched it.
95% of this was on Trump. Like it's
no and fucking
more than Trump, but
95% was on fucking Bush for getting us fucking started in the first place, and then another 3% on Obama. Or 2% on Obama for promising to do something and never doing it. And another 2% on Trump for promising to do something about it, and then just like basically promising a bunch of shit to the Taliban. And then like 1% on Biden for botching the fucking pullout that we should have done fucking years ago. But they'll be like, it's all Biden's fault. Everything was going smoothly until fucking Biden got elected, and now look what you lefties have done. Like, it's so dumb.
It's the same idea of them looking at all the people that are unvaccinated and the fact that we can't seem to get around that, and they're blaming Biden for this. Oh, this is under Biden's administration. Look at all the people that are still dying because of it. That is utterly insane to me. Because,
by the way,
like,
we've triggered Steven, who is
so,
who is always like very active in the chat. He's on the in the podcast chat all the time, and he's like, Biden's so greater than Trump's. Dude, fuck Biden. Like I don't know what you want me to say. Fuck Biden. Biden
we've
sucks.
told you this before, Stephen. None of us actually give a fuck and like Biden.
It's his desperate attempt to try and make us look like we're in a Biden cult, the same way it's so easy to show that they're in a Trump cult.
Trump cult.
You know what I mean? It's so easy to show and they'll be like, "Where's the Biden flags or bumper stickers?" And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. We don't like think he's a god or some shit like you think Trump is, but they need to be like, no, you're just as bad as us." That's why they call, to take it back, that's why they call atheism a religion. You're just as bad as us.
Just about to say that.
Yeah.
So are you saying that religion is bad? Period. Like, why are you talking?
They know it is. They know it is. They can look at other religions and see it's got detrimental effects in most cases.
But to be fair, TJ, I hate to argue against you a little bit here, but earlier in the show, Manda did mention a guy who had a Biden sign in his yard, and a crazy right-wing nut murdered him. So there is that.
Yeah. Also, like, it's just not like I have to explain to people all the time. A fuck it, I'll vote for Biden vote counts just as much as I've got 17 Trump flags vote.
Mm-hmm.
A disgruntled vote for Biden counts just as much as an excited vote for Trump, and they don't fucking
people
get
that can't understand how Biden won because look at his rallies compared to look at Trump's rallies. Speaking of rallies, what was that they had like yesterday or the day before? No, it was yesterday.
I missed the boat parades.
The boat parades are just fucking fabulous. But John, you said something about that that the rally or whatever they had yesterday was supposed to have like 10,000 people and something like 300 showed up.
Yeah. That what was it? Like Lindell and Candace Owens. They had a bunch of the usual conservative grifters, and it was only 300 that showed up. It was supposed to be 10,000. That's because people are getting tired of the same old shtick. These people are like, they say the same thing over and over again, and they keep making promises that don't happen. They keep making predictions that don't happen, and people are getting sick of it. They're like, "What is?"
And here's my prediction: these fucking right wingers will forget that they supported any of this shit at all a few years from now, and it'll be a totally new grift. You know what I mean? Like it's really weird because the right wing like in politics anyway, in Congress and the Senate and everything, slowly moves left a little bit in their politics, while the left wing slowly moves right. And it's like they're trying to find that fucking like center balance, but that's not what the people want. The people want like extremes.
I think that the amount of people that actually still believe that there was election fraud or whatever has dropped off quite dramatically. It was over 80% of Republicans at one point believed that the election was stolen, and I think it's below 50 now. Although I was reading this article today from Newsweek, it says that 59% of GOP voters say that believing that Trump won the 2020 election is important to being a Republican. I don't even know what that means, but
well,
look, what else could they possibly want at this point?
My favorite is that in 2016 they were like, "Cry baby, lose, like don't be sore losers, you bunch of crybabies." And then that's dude, they were the sorest fucking losers you've ever seen. Trump railed against mail-in voting for months and then complained that he didn't get enough mail-in votes.
And right now, a lot of the COVID deaths are concentrated in very red areas, and that's going to hurt their voting base too.
Look, I wanted to make a point earlier, and I guess now is a good time. Was Trump at the 9/11 memorial thing with it that Biden, Obama, and Clinton were at?
No, he did. He did a boxing match yesterday. He also had some kind of like he took it. some pictures with some first responders and was at a Mooney's rally, which I just read about earlier. I sent that to John. That was fucking crazy. But no, we wouldn't go to the memorial.
At this point 20 years ago, there were still live people buried in the fucking rubble that they were pulling out.
I can't believe that he's still trying to pass off those two lies that he says about, like the fact that he went and helped, like at Ground Zero. He made this lie about how he brought water and shit like that. Literally nobody in at all saw him at Ground Zero at any point in time the weeks after that. The first thing he said after the towers fell was he bragged about the fact that his building was now the tallest in Manhattan. And he also that lie about how he saw the thousands of Islamic people dancing in the streets or on the rooftops as the towers fell. Like, he keeps pushing these lies that are insane and easily disproven. How doesn't he see how stupid he sounds and how insane it sounds to keep
it doesn't
saying
matter
this shit?
It doesn't matter if you get people to still support you. That's all that matters to him, is the grift. You remember that the Central Park 5 or whatever, he was literally scientifically
he
proven
still should
wrong
be in jail because they admitted it. So what?
He'll do anything to save face, including claiming elections are rigged. And who thought that Trump was going to fucking concede?
Do you remember in 2016 he said that one had a lot of fraud, and that's the only reason Hillary won the popular vote by 3 million votes? So he put together a commission to investigate the election, and in 2 years they investigated it for 2 years. In 2018, his own commission came back and said they couldn't find any fraud, and that just quietly went away. That claim that he constantly pushed about the election fraud in the 2016 election, just so he could fucking save face, that just quietly went away. And then he pulled the same shit in 2020.
No, he claimed that he would lose because of the polls in 2016. He claimed that he was going to lose and it was going to be a fraud. Then he won,
it surprised even him.
Yeah, exactly, and he saved face by claiming it was still a fraud because of
the popular vote.
Exactly.
Well, they're doing the same thing with the recall vote or whatever in California right now. They're already saying that if they lose, it's fraudulent. That the only way they'll lose if it's fraudulent. This is the new standard now for them to call fraud, even though they have zero evidence to any kind of fraud whatsoever. It doesn't matter, because if they say it and they say, "Oh, everybody's lying," then their base will believe it and follow them. And I don't get that. Like, how do you end up? You've had all of these audits, all of these court cases. It has been proven over and over again that not only was there no fraud in the 2020 election, but they said that this was the most secure presidential election in history. And yet he continues to say this, and literally just all he has to do is say, well, everybody that says otherwise is lying, and they buy it. I don't understand. I don't.
My favorite meme I've ever seen on this topic is it's the Captain Planet, right? And it's got the 5 guys with their rings, and it's all different excuses. Like, media twisted what he said. It was a joke. That's not what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
And you go through all the different excuses, and Trump's at the bottom. He's like, with your excuses combined, I'd have to take no responsibility for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that is dead on exactly the way he plays the grift. And people would you can't criticize him without loving Biden or being a Democrat or any of that dumb shit. I have no party affiliation. I don't get to, and Florida is a closed primary state, so I don't even get to vote in the primaries because of that.
You know how many times I've criticized Trump, and then the response is Pelosi did this.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, why do I have to defend that?
Yeah. You love Trump. I don't love Pelosi, but they like to project their cultish following onto everyone else.
It's like when you say something about January 6th and they go, oh, the BLM protests. Well, what does one have to do with the other? Just because one happened doesn't negate what happened with the other one. And also there's shit that they make up about the BLM protests and everything is stupid and insane anyway.
Stephen James, I don't want to interrupt you, but Stephen James in the chat says, you guys can't even think of a single thing Biden did wrong. I double dog dare you to say what Biden messed up. We already said he botched the fucking Afghanistan withdrawal. We already said that.
The one thing we did say about
he
Biden,
didn't stop fracking. He said no, he's going to allow fracking to continue. That's another thing.
He's a centrist fucking corporate, he talks a lot of fucking, it's just a typical politician. He's been in fucking politics for 42 years. He's fucked up all throughout his fucking past. He's old. He mumbles. He fucking says dumb shit. He tells young kids to feel the hair on his legs. Like he's a fucking, he smells people. Like it's weird. He's a weird motherfucker. I don't like support him or his fucking politics. That's why I don't have a Biden flag or any of that shit. But guess what? I still voted Biden. And I've told this story before for no other reason than extremely personal pettiness, just to cancel out one other person's like excited Trump vote. And I would have just voted locally had it not been for that one person. I would have skipped it. But they were just such douchebags. I was like, you know what? Just to cancel your super excited vote, I'm going to go ahead and vote for Biden just to cancel yours specifically. So
but we were saying before, Manda, about comparing January 6th to the BLM riots. What I find funny about that is that with the BLM stuff, if it's happening in a protest and there's people holding signs and participating and chanting and stuff, you know what they're getting at. If it's a guy running into a store and running out with a jacket or busting a window or whatever, you don't know his fucking political positions, right? You're just claiming, those are the Democrats. That's a Democrat. Like, how do you know? Like the guy breaking into, smashing windows and climbing into or forcing his way into the Capitol building. You know what his political positions are.
Obviously Antifa. It's Antifa doing a fucking.
Still can't believe they tried to pull that shit, saying it was Antifa's.
Not only was it Antifa, but don't investigate it.
Fuck? The insane amount of investigations and bullshit that went into Benghazi. Okay, but here you have the Capitol, our country's capital building, that was set upon by fucking terrorists. You cannot call them anything other than that. And they're like, oh, look the other way. Or their whole like, oh, well, if we continue to talk about it, you're just being divisive. You're making it worse. What? How? How do you figure that?
And they will do nothing but like bring up the mistake. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird hypocrisy and a double standard that I don't know if they're aware of or if that's just their tactic, but it's so prevalent. And that's the one thing that really drives me wild, whether it's on the left or the right. But I personally have noticed it way more on the right. One of the things, like Dark Matter was saying, I used to rail on Fox News. They went from you have to support the president when it was Bush to the president shouldn't have any fucking power when it was Obama, right back to after fighting it for a little bit, they finally caved in and Trump was their boy. He should be able to do whatever he fucking wants. You have to listen to all of his advice and don't you dare fucking fight him. We have to unite, blah, 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 blah. Like they are willing to flip the script according to whoever's in fucking power. And it's there's little Fox News controversies for Obama was he wore a tan suit.
Oh God.
He had a Marine holding an umbrella for him. He asked for Dijon mustard on his burger.
Yeah.
He fucking like those are the controversies, and then they excuse you just grab him by the pussy. and that kind
Trump
of shit.
went into his presidency being accused, and then I'm pretty sure he was convicted of sexual assault on a minor. So, and that's something I didn't even know until a couple of years ago, like when it happened and everything. That was barely in the news at all. It was not something that was talked about. It blows my mind that not only did that happen, but it was something that was just so normal for this guy that once we did find out, we were just like, well, yeah, you're right, it happened, and we're surprised by it.
It's another one of my favorite memes is it's Trump holding a little girl and kissing her, and they just label Trump as Biden.
They were literally saying that, like this during Trump's last year, they were saying this is Biden's America. Like Trump is literally the president. What are you talking about? Now that it is actually Biden's America, there haven't been any riots or anything, or there hasn't been mass unrest or anything like it was going on.
Bro, Afghanistan, bro. But Afghanistan, all right. Look, man, we can't forget about that. He bought you. Plus, he slept on Putin, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad we got out of Afghanistan.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
way past due. Way past due. Anyone
one of the things that they,
dude. Look, there are certain circumstances where people are like stuck there, and I totally my heart goes out to them. But everyone that really has wanted to get out of there or has had the opportunity for some time, this was not like an unknown thing that was sprung on people last minute, but the process was like quick and it was messy, and there's all kinds of things that could be done better. But to like put the full blame of all of like Afghanistan and on the fucking withdrawal, and because Biden is the one that finally had the nuts to do it or follow through with it, because it was promised by fucking Bush, promised it wouldn't take long or some shit, or then he was passing it on to Obama. Obama's promised he was going to friggin' end that shit, never did, and Guantanamo and a fucking slew of other things. Then fucking Trump came in and said, I'm going to fucking do it. Even it wasn't even a popular at first, until the cult thing came into full swing and everything he said was gold. Then they were all on board. He never followed through with that shit. Biden finally comes in and fucking follows through with it, and they're like, this motherfucker has no balls. Like, what? Like, where are you coming from that you think Trump is fucking like infallible, but Biden can do no right? They both fuck up. They both got, look, there's some things I think Trump got right, even if accidentally.
Well, if the election fraud were really a thing, which is not obviously, but it's still under Trump's administration. Does anybody pick up on that at all? Of course not.
Can I just answer somebody?
Yes,
Seattle is still burning. Like the city of Seattle is burning. Flow state. Like, I guess that's the answer for there's no more mass unrest. Like, okay, let me say a few things. First of all, some proof, please. Like, I don't understand. I don't like the last time someone told me that they got mad at me. Like, my town was burned down, and I'm like, oh, could you give me an example? Like, what happened? What was burned down? They sent me an article. I think it was like a KFC that burned down, and I looked at the article.
Was it the Wendy's?
It was a kitchen fire. It was a fucking kitchen fire.
So that's not the Wendy's. The Wendy's was actually fucking like arson.
No. Okay, yeah, but still, it was one building, and then that was described, and it wasn't even because of violence, and then that somehow morphed into my town burned down. Like, that's what.
Yeah, I hear that.
I guarantee you, if I looked at a picture of Seattle right now that's live, like a live video feed, it would look totally fucking normal. I guarantee you.
The headline is Kentucky is on fire, but like you don't see the small print where it says fried chicken after Kentucky.
Fried chicken. No,
Yeah,
I hear that a lot too, that, cities were destroyed or cities were burned down or whatever. There was what TJ and I were alluding to. I think it might have been Atlanta,
what
that there was a
proof do you
Wendy's that
want me to
burned.
send you that Seattle burned down? Seattle burned down. Prove it. What proof? Like, are you listening to yourself? I'm really sorry I interrupted you, Manda, but I just could not believe someone would find it outlandish that I'd want proof that a city burned down.
He's asking for proof because it would be the only thing it would covered on the news right now, other than like COVID. It's just not like, if there are a couple of fires in Seattle, that's a fucking like Monday night.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean? I'm just looking it up straight up right now, and literally the only things about fires in Seattle are the wildfires caused by climate change. There is nothing at all.
No. We all know
being on fire.
They were caused by Biden. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Fuck you, Biden, and your. We have a thumbs down now. Apparently, someone's butt hurt out there. He's like, you know what? I dislike this stream.
I do feel bad for interrupting you, Amanda. What were you saying?
It's always fine. You're not wrong. There was a Wendy's that burned down, I think, Atlanta. But even when that happens, it is just one building. You're not talking about. There was no destruction of entire cities. Like the narrative that they push when it comes to BLM or any of the protests from last year is absolutely always blown out of proportion as compared to what was reality. So,
I by the way, Flow State, I was not accusing you of being the butthurt party. I was just saying somebody out there, and then somebody took away their like as well, and that might be you. You know what? I'm going to blame that one on you. Whatever, dude. Like, seriously, if you can't just like,
you know what? You left. Way to leave 200 down thumbs on her video. That's bullshit. You personally did that.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and replace that missing like. There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, and look, now I think the tides are changing. Look,
bam.
Here's the main point. Here's my main point. I want everyone here to respect each other. And Stephen James will tell you this, like, we disagree and dark matter, and we'll have our moments where we kind of lose our patience with each other, but there's always a respect there. And we always, we tolerate each other because we have so much other stuff that we agree and have in common, and we enjoy the same humor and all that. And we kind of tend to focus on that until there's a disagreement, and you're allowed to disagree. That's the beautiful fucking thing about freedom and fucking, like, being American. You don't have to fucking all agree. We can all respect each other and just be like, you know what? This stream was a lot of fun. I really hated the part where they talked about this. I disagree with that part, and still like and enjoy the stream and not like hold hard feelings. I don't fucking hold hard feelings for anything online. My life is too short for that shit. So like Flow State and freaking Stephen James and all you guys, I love you guys to death. I like you. We'll have fun with you, and like I might like laugh at you, but I also want to laugh with you. Put it that way. Like I consider you all good people. I freaking love having you guys show up for our streams, whether it be here or on the podcast or whatever. You guys are fantastic, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So respect.
And I just want you to know, I have friends and family both that I consider to be kind of far right, and I know there's people that exist out there who think that I shouldn't be friends with people who are far right. But I see that as like, if you're cutting them out of your life, then you're also cutting out, a mitigating factor, a voice that can provide to them some arguments in the other direction and give them some food for thought, and perhaps lessen their push to the right, maybe give them some good reasons that they don't normally hear. And I'm still willing to be, friends with them, and
absolutely,
and that's fine, and I don't cut people out of my life like that, but I'm also not afraid to argue with them either.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to voice your disagreement and still have disrespect, disrespect, and not disrespect each other. You should be able to, like, my neighbor Tyler, that he's actually just moving out. Like, we disagree on a lot of politics and stuff, but at the same time, like, he totally fucking trusts me. In fact, I've got his rifle and his goddamn handgun behind me right now because he's moving, and he's like, I have to drive up to Tallahassee and then back. I'd rather not have this in my car. So I have I'm watching that for him, but like, that's a level of trust that like politics doesn't get in the way of. Like, when you just a person and you're like, look, we can disagree on all kinds of shit, but I trust you. Like, that there's no like ifs, ands, or buts about that. And I see these same names in the chat on the podcast all the time, and I would rather have a serious discussion about it, but sometimes it's just easier to poke fun and stuff. So I don't want you to feel like I don't take you seriously. It's just that, like, sometimes it's fun to, like, poke fun and laugh. We do it to each other as well.
You guys keep Steve and James around.
Yeah, no, he's good people. He's good people, man.
That's what I'm saying. We can respect each other. Bree wants to know if you keep Q people in your life, John.
I was just going to say, I don't think I know any. I was just going to say, but if there were a Q person who, oh boy, they're pretty far out there. If it was possible to be friends, like they were like a friendly person, I think I could be, cordial, and if we had like common interests like video games or shows or stuff, we could just shut off the politics. I'm sure we could be friendly that way. But when it comes to like the wild conspiracy theory stuff, I would definitely argue with them about that. I would have no qualms about telling them what I think about that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I could be friends with a QAnon supporter, but I'm a judgmental bitch, so.
Well, I would want them to hear something outside of what their echo chamber or whatever. I would want them to hear the arguments against
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. That's one of the biggest problems. Is that people like that end up in such an echo chamber. There's nothing else outside of that. They don't hear anything else. They're just always validated in their insanity, and that's unfortunate. So,
but that's what they seek.
But I have kept you guys to go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that's what they seek. They seek to be validated and to have their irrational beliefs validated through other dumbass people, and make excuses when it doesn't go right for them.
Mm-hmm. Is anyone else like, we're all old enough to remember? Is anyone else incredibly disappointed with what has come of the internet? Like,
oh yeah, the age of information, they called it.
Yeah, it seems like it did the opposite of what it was supposed to do. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No, it is. It's such a double-edged sword because you want to be able, like, the fact that we can connect with so many people and so much information can be shared is great. But like what I was saying earlier about things not deserving equal weight, the real science and data it shouldn't be kept on the same level as the misinformation and the insane bullshit that is pushed.
Yeah.
But the internet kind of has leveled that out and allowed for it to have, the same voices, and it's very disappointing.
The idea that everything should be free and equal, and I think that was based on the idea that the truth always comes out in the end, and I think that was a common thing people believed, but I think the internet kind of proved that that's just not true. I think the internet showed that no, truth doesn't always win out. Sometimes the lies win out. And
the internet's a fucking fickle beast.
It's the loudest voice.
You can find an awesome recipe, right? And then like let YouTube suggestions take over or autoplay, and next thing you know, it's like fucking popping pimples or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, the internet is just a strange fucking place. It's all over there's no, and you knew that the idiots were gonna like take over. The smart people will set it up, and then the idiots take over. That's usually what fucking happens. Anyway,
it's, for some reason, it's just about who kind of yells the loudest. And also there seems to be this kind of phenomenon where the crazier shit, because it's so crazy, gets platformed more. I have an issue with, there are a lot of people in our community that will platform insane theists that push very dangerous stuff. And I get, the whole pointing and laughing thing, like, oh, well, this is insane, let's talk about it. But at the same time, you're giving this person a platform. You're amplifying their voice and their insane, dangerous theories. There's kind of a balance there. Where do you find between this is crazy, somebody should talk about it, but at the same time, is it dangerous to talk about it and give them that voice that they wouldn't have had I not done it? It's always an issue.
It is, for sure. It's a kind of a fine line.
Anyway, I've kept you guys 2 hours. Sorry about that, but I super duper appreciate it and had a lot of fun. TJ, I want to thank you for being so
hilarious.
Hilarious.
Eye candy of the show here. I know.
Only because I can't see John's picture on the thing here. I can only, for what I'm looking at on our StreamYard setup, is just an empty space where John should be.
That's kind of ironic, because that's exactly what he's like on the podcast, an empty space.
I was thinking that it's ironic that I deliberately did not go on video, because I wanted to give TJ a little bit of a chance to shine, and he throws it in my face like this and makes an insult out of it.
Okay, then make it up and come on video next podcast.
TJ's always begging me to go on video on the internet.
And pick up some beers, you fucking lightweight. We'll do a drunk matter.
If I'm doing drunk matter, I'm not going to be on camera, because, what if I want to run for office one day?
Dude, yeah, at this point, you couldn't run for dog catcher. You're fucked.
No, not after you force me to talk about butt wall porn.
Bro, I would literally show up to your fucking, like, your little soapbox speeches with, like, just a speaker that plays all of the things you've said very, very fucking loudly.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. I'd be like,
the best of dark matter.
I was just thinking about that one dude too. Yeah.
The guy that they set up right in front of his fucking porch for this media thing, and he didn't like the politician, and the guy is running for mayor or whatever. And he's just like, boo, boo the whole time. That would be me. Yeah, for sure. You wouldn't be able to get rid of me. And I'd still probably vote for you if I could. That's the worst part. I just want to give you shit.
You would. You would.
Put a toupee on that and I'd vote for it.
You've been very gracious and allowed me to. I've come on your podcast and we've become friends, and you could have been the opposite, and you weren't. You've been very cool, and I'm so glad that we met and became friends, CJ. So thank you.
I'm glad that I think that having me on the show has maybe slightly removed the stick that's been up its ass.
That's why I had to remove that stick. And
no,
then John, of course.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank
you very much for having me on.
Definitely do this again.
Absolutely, and we're going to have you on the podcast again. You can count on it.
I noticed that nobody thanked me for being on the show, despite being the most famous person here. That's okay.
Well, that's right. Thank you, Dr. Sagan. You are my hero, and I'm super appreciative that you would take the time out of the afterlife to come on my pithy little podcast here. So I appreciate it.
At last, it is nice to finally be appreciated. Want you to take note, TJ.
We'll do a Dark Matter appreciation episode soon. All right, we do them every now and then. We'll do one soon. Maybe we'll do one right after you do a drunk matter. All right, deal.
All right,
I gotta
but
pay
I don't know
one
why
for
you're
the
telling
other.
me that, because I was Sagan.
Well, I'm telling you, and I was telling Sagan to tell you because you're apparently very close.
And thank you, Sagan, and thank you to John for always being there for me. And thank you to Bree BrainBug, who produced tonight's episode. Make sure you check out her channel as well.
Give us a big thumbs up. Check out the goddamn podcast. Lots of fun.
Tuesday.
Yep.
It's
Tuesday
links in the
nights at 10.
description.
Yep.
Tuesday nights at 10. So thank you to everybody, and I will see you next week. And don't forget to think critically.
Good night.
Night, everyone. And I have to figure out how to turn this off. So, night.